is a better place. Insectopia.
The film industry is notorious for being one of the riskiest professions to get into. It is cited that roughly half of theatrical releases do not make a profit. A studio can spend hundreds of millions on production and marketing and still bomb. Due to the expensive and unpredictable nature of filmmaking, it is common for studios to leech off of those already successful. This brings us into the realm of movie ripoffs. On November 20th, 1998, A Bug's Life would be released by Pixar, a movie loosely based off of the Seven Samurai storytelling of protecting a village. The movie would see praise from audiences, appreciating its innovative CGI and heartfelt story. However, people noticed something bizarre. The movie felt very similar to another film called Ants, DreamWorks' first ever film, released on November 20th, 1998. It had just come out 7 weeks earlier than A Bug's Life. The film was also made with CGI, it centered around ants, and it revolved around a troubled main character protecting their colony. Why are there suddenly 2 CGI ant movies back to back? Could it have been pure coincidence? This is where it gets complicated. Enter Jeffrey Katzenberg, a top Disney executive responsible for overseeing the Disney Renaissance era. He would leave Disney in 1994 following a massive fallout between CEO Michael Eisner, denying him promotion to president. Shortly after, Katzenberg would co-found what would be known as DreamWorks Animation, fueled by a desire to rival Disney. When Katzenberg was still a part of Disney, he overheard details about A Bug's Life in the works. With this knowledge, Ants would be hastily rushed into production as to compete with Pixar. Katzenberg would also make sure that Ants would come out before the movie to create the illusion that Pixar was actually banking off them. This tension between these two studios gained much attention from the media, portraying it as a battle between the ants and the bugs. So, in the end, how are the two movies looked upon today? Ironically enough, while both movies were marketed as rivals, they actually ended up complementing each other. Despite the similarities, both movies are very different in tone. A Bug's Life follows the Disney tradition of being family-friendly, colorful, and optimistic. Ants is far from this. It is adult, it's gritty and realistic, and is targeted towards a more mature audience. Upon rewatching the two films, I found myself appreciating the two films equally for different reasons. I don't see either as being the ripoff, rather, I see it more as A Bug's Life if it was adult, and Ants if it was family-friendly. Ultimately, while Ants was created out of rivalry and spite, it would end up being a very solid film on its own. The movie would be a box office success, serving as a stepping stone for DreamWorks' now juggernaut status.
Apparently, somebody looked at Iron Man and thought, what if we remade this movie, but worse in every conceivable way? Enter Metal Man. A movie that feels less like inspiration, more like a movie created by a guy with his eyes closed. This movie came out the same time as the first Iron Man, and gives off the vibe of a knockoff toy next to the real one, hoping your grandma won't know the difference.
Hold her down.
What the hell is that? Tin Man?
This is where copyright laws come into play. You can't just take a suit, spray paint it a different color, and act like you just invented the hot dog. It takes years of planning to design a movie like Iron Man. Then you have a studio who comes around like a raccoon at 2 a.m. trying to steal your trash. The funny thing is, these movies avoid being complete copies to get around the legal orbital strikes that would fall if they were complete copies. It's like going to school dressed as American Man instead of Captain America and pretending you're the original. The problem with all these awful copies is they can really hurt a studio's reputation. Imagine somebody sees Metal Man first, they think it's terrible, and now the original studio has to deal with the confusion that Metal Man has caused. Imagine spending years designing a Ferrari, and some fat guy comes along, puts duct tape on a lawnmower and calls it the same thing. Copyright laws exist because without them, every good idea would get swarmed by clearance-aisle clones with the emotional passion of expired yogurt. These knockoff copies move faster than first responders. Marvel spent 5 years putting together this cinematic masterpiece, and the knockoff somehow releases their version 3 weeks later with the CGI that looks like it was rendered on a microwave. And listen, I'm all for inspiration. Every creative work takes their influence from somewhere. But there's a massive difference between inspiration and showing up to the function wearing somebody else's face like a Scooby-Doo villain. At some point you stop paying homage and start committing identity theft. In all fairness, these movies are hilarious, but you have to understand what you're watching and how it affects other people. Leave the horrible movies to Wakely Deal and his crew. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.